wearing my supernatural hat, and I was going to talk about the Ascended Masters a little bit because sometimes I make videos and I blame the Ascended Masters for the state of the world because of my experience with the Ascended Masters and the feeling that they put me in situations that I don't like and don't seem to learn from. And knowing what I've heard from Sananda, for example, I do tend to blame Sananda as being some kind of a entity that is not very helpful. Now, turning it around, what do I like about the Ascended Masters? Well, I suppose certain knowledges that they have told me are nice to know. And well, I always come back to, the frustrations of being human and, the stories that I get about how the masters put you with people for whatever. You're supposed to learn something from it, and then you're supposed to move on, and they set up new environments for you to experience new things. And, that's the way things are supposed to be for humans that are on a path of spiritual life, I suppose. I don't think of anything in particular that is terribly useful, because the things are mostly to do with words. Affirmations, for example. I affirm this and I affirm that. And, something to do with your own I. I am. The I am lectures, you can find those if you Google Ascended Masters and I am Saint Germain, for example. And the stories of Saint Germain are that this being tries to help humans while he's in the physical by giving them information, and then says, but in the end, you have to make your choices. And if you make the wrong choice, well, it's your own bad karma, and I warned you, and you didn't take it. And the great story of Saint Germain was warning the French kings and aristocracy that the French Revolution was going to come, and it would not go well for them if they didn't change the way things were for the people who were hungry and mistreated, while the aristocracy and the king and Marie Antoinette lived high on the hog and didn't seem to care a whit for the people that they were supposed to be stewarding. Now, where do we go from here? Well, I've already talked about things that I find very upsetting about Ascended Master Sananda. The time when he told someone who had prostate cancer and was soon to die, what is the gift of this cancer? What is the gift of your upcoming death? What is the gift? And it seemed very cold and heartless. And I keep trying to talk around what are the positive things that come about from someone asking this kind of a question to someone. Basically, Sananda would say, turn within and get your answers within. I'm not going to do your homework. He gave us some various books that we could read, to get up to date. I don't get any information from Ascended Masters anymore, and I don't get anything from angels anymore. Although I do see angel numbers, like triple numbers, and, mirrored numbers, like 1001 example. And, when I look it up, it says, well, the angels and the Ascended Masters are here, they're around you, and if you ask them, they will help you. And I don't really know what to ask them. For the most part, I don't know, what, At one point, Stuart Wilde, who I used to follow before he passed on, said that there was a vast plan of, I don't know if it's the, the celestial realm, in other words, the gods and goddesses, for helping planet Earth get rid of all the dark, evil shit that goes on here. And, I don't know this vast plan. All I know is what Stuart Wilde said, and, I don't get updates from him, and, the person he passed his torch to, thehoodedsage.com, Chris Krepsik, doesn't post anything anymore and doesn't answer my emails. And I'm not going to pay thousands of dollars to be on the thehoodedsage.com website so I can ask Chris Krepsik questions, because I don't know if he's helpful to me anymore. And if he was ever much help, I mean, it's stuff that I've read, lots of things I've read, and he said that he did a healing on me, whether it was real, and some people on the internet said that both Stuart Wilde and Chris Krepsik are frauds, and that they went through terrible things with ayahuasca ceremonies and sexual abuse. I don't know, I wasn't there. All I know is that Krepsik told me some things that were, that he could see on me, and then other people seem to say, well, he says that to everyone. And that is basically the lesson you learn from using outside healers, that, they charge you a lot of money. They tell you, they see horrible, horrible things, and then that goes into you and you feel rotten. So what healing did I get from him? I have no one else that can tell me that, that he did anything at all. He said he did a remote healing and he could, I don't know, travel through astral, etheric, and find me and do something. I think I did maybe barf or something, but thank you if you're out there listening, Chris Krepsik. I don't have any confirmation, and so I guess you just outgrow, who you consider to be teachers, and you see if there's more teachers. I was going to listen to Drunvalo Melchizedek. I listened to a little bit of a lecture, and then I had lots of problems and didn't get the rest of the lecture. And he doesn't sound so much like a lot of the other people on YouTube. He's sort of off on a different tangent with his teachings about flowers of life and the order of Melchizedek, and he says he's part of the Great White Brotherhood, which is supposed to be the Ascended Masters. I don't want to call them all evil all the time. I don't want to. I don't want to see evil in beings. I don't want them to be evil. I don't want to think that they're manipulating me. But the shaman always looks, and Sananda said I had a shaman energy, and the shaman looks to see if what the shaman does has made any effect. Where else would I go with this? So, am I supposed to say to the Ascended Masters, I'm sorry for the things that come through me, and say, no, don't listen to them and avoid them at all costs? I don't know how you avoid them. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know where they are. They seem to be in some other dimension, and they talk through certain channels. My advice for you listening is learn as much as you can from as many teachers as you can, and whether it's going to be useful for you or not, I guess time will tell. Always take things with a grain of salt, and even Sananda said you have to check in with yourself to see if it resonates. So you mean it wasn't all bad information, and what gift would you get from a cancer that kills you? Surrender, I suppose. No one actually said that in that group with Sananda at the time. The person that had prostate cancer didn't give us anything, and he soon passed on. So whatever the gift was that he got, I often ask myself, what gift do I have, making these videos for all of you. I guess it's a video diary of, what comes to me. And, what I can share with you that might be helpful, relevant to you, I guess we have to let synchronicity work. And, if you get this, perhaps when you hear it, it'll be something useful for you. I hope so. Otherwise, I'm just talking to the wind. And, the group that I work with, we don't really use the Ascended Masters. Sometimes we refer to some of these things, and sometimes we pretend, what would they say? But, I don't really I haven't heard from Sananda directly, other than we use it like in computeries using fuzzy logic. What would they say? But I used to hear Sananda, or a version of Sananda, many years ago. He sent me on a long driving journey, and it was, it was a long time ago, and I guess I did experience things, and it's not really a story that we're going to tell you now. But I just want to tell you that, if you listen to some of my videos and I'm very negative about Ascended Masters, I think you should, don't take my word for it. Even though sometimes I feel this way, it's what I'm given to feel. And even when I say these things, the next thing you know, I see a bunch of angel numbers, triple numbers on license plates, etc., or on clocks. There's a 11111 right now for you. So, the problem with being human is that, we use our brains to go and absorb what we can through books and YouTubes and websites and television and, other people in our environment. And we have a very difficult time telling when people are lying to us or when they're telling us the truth. I used to use muscle testing because Dr. David R. Hawkins, said you can use muscle testing, and that's what he learned from Dr. John Diamond. And I find quite often muscle testing, I can't even do it, and when I can, it's clearly wrong. So I don't use muscle testing to get truth anymore. Then you try and think, well, what would your heart do? Or some people say, what would Jesus do in this situation? And, I said in an earlier video, well, when you're a child and you go to church and you learn about Jesus turning the other cheek, and then you try and use that on the playground, it doesn't work. Basically you'll get beaten up by the bullies. So you basically have to, say, why do I learn this? This Jesus stuff doesn't work, in my life. So what is the truth? What is the truth? And what is really going on planet Earth? I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you. I wish I had the knowledge to be able to express something for you. And even my group, we're sort of at a standstill because we tend to see sort of the same patterns happen with us, and it's typical family dynamics when one person is having a major meltdown and the rest of us are like, what the hell are we supposed to do when someone in our family is having a meltdown? We have to wait it out and see what happens afterwards. So, I always come back to the spiritual teacher Osho and his transformation tarots and different things. And, the card is always moment to moment. Be moment to moment. And try and let go of the past as soon as it's past. And, you really don't even have control about what memories come to you from time to time, Sometimes, I get frustrated and annoyed, and I can't remember things that maybe if I knew them, if I remembered them, I would, that would be, I'd have a confirmation that, this is just some bad energy, and I just have to wait and work it out. This is seen before, and sometimes I know it's been seen before, but I don't have anything good to go on. It's very frustrating to be a human and trying to figure out what's going on. And there's so many spiritual teachers, so-called spiritual teachers, that they don't always agree on things. Some of the people from India say that, all life is just an illusion, it's just a dream, and your best thing to do is to try and get out of the dream, wake up from the dream. Well, to this point, I haven't woken up from the dream. I'm still in human form. Other ones, the Ascended Masters, don't talk about this at all. They're completely different, and they're all about I am a being, and I'm having this experience. Is it reality? Today I said to myself, this is reality. It is not a simulation. But then I put on a YouTube video, and immediately I heard it's a simulation. So what does it mean if it's a simulation? You just can't get to truth. I mean, you keep trying and trying to get what is true, what is true, what is true. And it becomes very frustrating, and you just want to go to sleep and have a break or something. Anyways, if you're interested in the Ascended Masters and the I Am teachings, and you want to go and dive into it, please go and, ignore what I've said about them. When you come to the point when you figure, like a lot of times we listen to things and we say, well, it just seems like it's just English words. It's English words, and it gets to the point where it's like, the words don't even help anymore. And then you want to go to silence, and then, you're silent for a while, and then it's like, well, this isn't, very useful either. So you flip from one mode of being to another. And that's my video diary for you. It's just, when I make these videos, it's how I feel in the moment. And, and then later on, maybe I feel a bit guilty about, chewing out the Ascended Masters. Sanandi said, it's a great plane consciousness. And he said, this is harvest time. This was many years ago. Maybe it was 8 or 10 years ago that I used to go to these group channelings. And he said it was harvest time. And what we got at that time was we were ascending, and we were going to become mastery. He always talked about, this is the path of mastery. So what are we mastering? Well, I guess we're mastering ourselves. We try to master our emotions, and we try to, control things. And yet, the more you do that, the more you realize you don't have control. One of my friends says, if you're lucky if you get 10% control. And well, I don't even feel like I have 10% control. The way that things go for me, the body takes me different places, and I meet different people, and, the group of my spirit guides, well, they're mostly the same ones, but then they said, sometimes transient ones come through, and no one knows who they're going to be and what they're going to say, and so that's my video diary for you. I guess I don't have too much more, but please listen again if you feel like I am at all interesting, and if not, then, there's nothing I can do. I guess usually when I'm just giving these talks, I say I'm Harry Weaver, the narrator of Infinite Bob 99, but, I'm the actor Bobby Burrows. Thanks.